Still don't quite understand ASL's process, how they generate business, and how those orders are executed. So I walked the floor to talk to some of the employees.
This is not a charity. This is business. Famous last words, usually spoken moments before someone loses their business, their brand, and occasionally their will to live. Welcome to The Profit, the show where struggling entrepreneurs invite a millionaire stranger into their livelihoods, only to discover, plot twist, he's not a savior, he's a shareholder. At first glance, it all looked wholesome. A self-made businessman, Marcus Lemonis, offering his own money to fix broken companies. Cue inspirational music. Cue teary-eyed owners.
Which gives it the creaminess. It's actually the same topping that's on top of the pie. We put that in there and it...
Cue the phrase, people, process, product, repeated like it's gospel. But what if I told you the real product was them? Because somewhere between season 1's underdog makeovers and season 8's NDA signed chaos, The Profit morphed into something else. Less Shark Tank with heart, more Game of Thrones, but everyone's a bakery owner. Behind the TV-friendly smiles and corporate jargon was a darker reality. Lawsuits, intimidation, accusations of manipulation, and ex-contestants forming support groups with names like victims of Marcus Lemonis. Yes, really. What started as a feel-good fantasy for business bros became a cautionary tale wrapped in a suit and tie. A show that promised help, but sometimes handed out hell. So how did we go from heroic rescues to alleged racketeering? Let's rewind, because the only way to understand how The Profit collapsed is to look back at how it built itself up.
Is that I always love a good redemption story. And when it doesn't end well, like it does in this episode, it's important to me that people get a chance to redeem themselves.
Once upon a time, back when business reality TV still had a hint of reality, CNBC had a genius idea. What if we turned small business trauma into primetime content? Enter The Profit, which premiered in 2013, right between the death of the American dream and the rise of hustle culture. The pitch was simple. Marcus Lemonis, the RV kingpin/business guru, walks into broken mom and pop shops and offers his own money to save them. That's right, his own money. Cue the moral halo, the intense eye contact, and the phrase, "I'm 100% in charge," said with the calm aggression of a guy who definitely believes he invented business. And it worked. By 2016, The Profit was CNBC's most popular original series, pulling nearly 2 million viewers per episode. Viewers loved it. Entrepreneurs saw Marcus as a cross between Oprah, Mr. Clean, and Gordon Ramsay for the QuickBooks crowd.
Through my salary, if she needs money, I give it to her.
Let me see if I understand that again. She doesn't get paid.
The man had a formula: people, process, product, and people ate it up like it was a TED Talk dipped in barbecue sauce. CNBC even launched the hashtag #ShareTheProfit campaign, where sharing a clip on Facebook would somehow help small businesses, because nothing screams saving capitalism like a hashtag. Lemonis became a celebrity entrepreneur. The guy who could walk into your failing frozen yogurt shop, slap some chalkboard paint on the wall, fire your cousin Tony, and double your revenue in 48 hours. TV magic, baby. And there were spin-offs. There was The Partner in 2017. There were international episodes. He even did a Profit in Cuba. Because nothing says local small business like importing capitalism to a communist country. It was peak myth-making.
Not 100% accurate.
Yeah.
Maybe Anthony's father, Louis, can shed some light about how Anthony runs things around here.
Marcus wasn't just a businessman. He was the businessman. A man so confident, he looked at a bankrupt company and said, "Yeah, I can fix that," on camera. But as we now know, every legend has a backstory, and most empires are built on fine print. It started like any great downfall, slowly, then all at once. For a while, everything The Profit touched turned to gold, or at least to decent online reviews and increased foot traffic. But by season 5, some viewers started noticing a pattern, a suspiciously formulaic pattern. Every episode went like this: struggling business. Marcus walks in, shocked at how bad things are, fixes branding, fires someone, has a dramatic walkout, comes back, gives money. Everyone claps, roll credits. And yet, behind those credits, a different story was brewing. Because as it turns out, when someone says they're 100% in charge, they really mean you're 0% in control.
A test.
No, I know, but what we would do is we usually would follow it up tomorrow or the next day.
I wasn't asking you to change your process. I was asking you to tell me what your process was.
Act 1, Courage Break. Let's talk about Courage B, a boutique clothing company run by Nicholas Garreau and Stephanie Mencken. On camera, Marcus looked like a knight in fitted blazers. Behind the scenes, the duo later alleged that Marcus tanked their business, saddled them with debt, and walked away with control of their brand. Then came the lawsuit, then came the others. By 2018, Inc. magazine reported that Marcus was facing at least 6 lawsuits, accusations ranging from breach of contract to tortious interference and straight-up corporate looting. The phrase racketeering scheme even made it into one complaint. And that's when things got spicy. More than 50 businesses, yes, 50, eventually joined the chorus, claiming they'd been misled, exploited, or just used as props for the Marcus Lemonis show. One of the most tragic cases, Precise Graphics, a construction and design company. After their episode aired, they didn't get the happy ending montage. They got bankruptcy papers. And in 2022, a $30 million lawsuit against Marcus and CNBC.
He's always seeming to be lapping up the limelight with a media, or in this case, a TV network that
They claimed the show crushed them with impossible orders and left them drowning in debt. As one observer put it, they came for a lifeboat, they got a luxury cruise ship with a hole in it. Act 2. The fallout goes public. While CNBC was still proudly tweeting inspirational clips of Marcus saying, "You've got to trust the process," Reddit threads and exposés were telling a very different story. Entrepreneurs spoke out anonymously, fearing retaliation. Some said Marcus offered deals just to get access to trademarks or real estate, then backed out after taking control. Others accused the show of setting them up to fail, presenting them as incompetent on TV to justify hostile takeovers.
Okay. If the sign costs $45 to make and it sells for $450, the margin is 90%.
And then there were the death threats. A few former contestants said that after their episode aired, fans of the show harassed them online. Hate mail, social media campaigns, Yelp reviews from people who had never even been to their business. Some had to delete their accounts. Some just disappeared. This is when things stopped being business and started feeling like a Black Mirror episode. One former participant summed it up like this: "This wasn't an investment meeting, it was television, and we were the storyline." But the ultimate irony? Despite the growing backlash, Marcus kept winning in court. Arbitration cases dismissed the allegations. Judges ordered claimants to pay his legal fees. Millions of dollars in sanctions. Even in 2025, Marcus won a massive $9.5 million judgment over a dispute with Tumbleweed Tiny Homes. Which brings us to Act 3, the villain arc. By this point, The Prophet wasn't just a show, it was a meme. The phrase 100% in charge started popping up sarcastically in forums. Fan pages turned into support groups. The once beloved hero of small business had gone full anti-hero.
And so is all this stuff, as an example, is this yours or?
No, that's not our product.
Critics labeled Marcus a vulture capitalist. Others compared his investment strategy to the plot of a true crime documentary: lure, isolate, exploit. The Facebook group Victims of Marcus Lemonis launched in 2020, allowing ex-contestants to share their horror stories anonymously. And if that wasn't enough, social media had a field day when CNBC pulled the plug in 2021 after a quiet $11 million settlement with dozens of claimants. Oh, and the kicker? Marcus announced the end of The Prophet on Twitter, like a tech CEO casually laying off half a company. One headline in Bloomberg Law summed it up best: CNBC star accused of stealing dozens of companies' IP. Imagine tuning into a business rescue show and leaving with fewer assets than when you started. He always wins. Now, to be fair, Marcus has denied everything, repeatedly. He says he acted in good faith. He says every deal was consensual. He says the contracts were clear. And legally, he's not wrong. In fact, he's won nearly every case brought against him.
That I should know about him, be honest, that would drive me crazy, that drives you crazy.
One New York judge even called the lawsuits a warning sign about over-litigation. Translation: don't sue the guy with more lawyers than you have employees. Marcus himself put it bluntly in an interview: "I've never lost a case, and I sleep well at night." Cool flex. But when more than 50 small business owners say you destroyed their lives, even if it's not illegal, it kind of makes you wonder, was The Prophet ever really about helping people? Or was it just a beautifully lit, professionally edited power trip? Because from where we're standing, it sure looks like the latter. At this point, The Prophet wasn't just past its prime. It was rotting on the shelf, vacuum sealed in polished sound bites and reheated drama.
Don't suck. They don't have the sales number as those, but those are sold every week.
He's saying is, if we're gonna do 15.
Because after 8 seasons, The Prophet became what every business show dreads becoming: predictable as hell. The script? Identical. Step 1, Marcus walks in and acts shocked a bakery doesn't know its profit margins. Step 2, he fires a family member. Step 3, buys 51% of the business. Step 4, slaps a new logo on the window. Step 5, everyone hugs, freeze frame, cut to black. Repeat, repeat, repeat. No nuance, no long-term results. Just a marketing makeover filmed in 4K and edited to make it look like a miracle happened in 36 hours. And what was once pitched as authentic business rescue started to feel more like brand rehab meets hostage negotiation.
You can bet on 3 numbers, 11 to 1, 4 numbers, 8 to 1. This is the only spot on the board for 5 numbers.
By the time season 8 rolled around, even the emotional breakthroughs felt algorithmic. You could almost hear the producer whisper off camera, "Okay, Marcus, now ask about their childhood trauma. We need tears before the second ad break." Meanwhile, the internet had turned. Reddit threads were dissecting every episode like true crime podcasts. YouTube reaction videos popped up from former contestants saying, "Here's what they didn't show you." The hashtag The Prophet started serving both memes and legal warnings. Fan pages were renamed The Loss. There were no fresh ideas, no innovation, just Marcus moving from business to business like a capitalist ghost hunter, banishing inefficiencies and collecting intellectual property. And sure, CNBC still tried to sell it. The Facebook page kept posting inspirational quotes in Canva fonts. "Business is personal, Marcus Lemonis." Yeah, tell that to the people who claim you took their business personally. Even Marcus seemed tired, you could feel it. The energy, gone. The urgency, manufactured. The deals, less transformative, more transactional.
And what I mean by that is Pete wants his finger on every single thing in the store.
At some point, even the tearful hugs felt like part of the script. Worse still, the show's formula didn't age well. In a post-2020 world where we collectively started questioning hustle culture, power imbalance, and toxic positivity, The Prophet felt off. Like watching a TED Talk about resilience while your company gets foreclosed. The show became less about helping and more about appearing to help. It became content, polished, packaged, pointless, like a PowerPoint with feelings. In the end, The Prophet was a fantasy, a beautifully packaged illusion that told America, you can fail upwards as long as you let a millionaire take control. And for a while, that illusion worked. It gave us hope, it gave us memes, it gave us Marcus Power walking through warehouses while whispering people, process, product, like it was a sacred chant. But when the camera stopped rolling and the contracts kicked in, the magic wore off. What we got was a show that blurred the line between mentorship and manipulation, between help and hostile takeover.
It's delicious.
Thank you.
You could have blindfolded me. I would have thought this was like some kind of regular Pop-Tart.
And look, not every business failed. Some genuinely grew, some made money. But for many others, The Prophet didn't feel like salvation. It felt like being saved by someone who's also quietly signing ownership papers behind your back. Was it illegal? Usually no. Was it ethical? Define ethical. In a media landscape where every brand is now a content machine, The Prophet was just another case study in narrative control. It was never just about business, it was about the story. And Marcus always controlled the edit. So can this model ever truly work? Can you mix capitalism, vulnerability, and entertainment and expect something pure to come out the other end?
On some of the shows, you'll see me spend some money, and some shows you'll see me lose money. One episode, almost $200,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Or will it always turn into just another cautionary tale with a LinkedIn filter? You tell me. And if you've ever thought about pitching your small business on a reality show, here's a tip. Read the contract twice. Then ask yourself if you're the protagonist or just the content. Because as we've learned, being 100% in charge might sound empowering until you're the one being charged. Like this breakdown, smash that like button like Marcus smashes family businesses. Subscribe for more deep dives into the gloriously messy world of business TV. And tell us in the comments, which self-made billionaire should get the next expose? See you in the next episode, where hopefully no one loses their trademark.